Tutors. This is the 5th video installment in how to make a basic AI. In this video we're going to go over health of the AI. As per always, in the last minute or so of the video I will be going over everything I did in the video, so you can fast forward to then and then see if this is something that you would like to know about. Okay, so in the last video, in the last 4 videos, we went over how to get something similar to this process. We have our guy wandering, and he wanders to a random target, and upon he sees you, he changes his speed and runs towards you. Now we're going to pick up from that spot in this tutorial. In this tutorial it's also important to have some sort of shooting mechanic. See, I have something like that. It doesn't matter what the shooting mechanic is. What's most important is that we have an actual projectile class. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter what else it is. Alright, so we're going to start in the projectile class. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the projectile class. This is our bullet. Now if you have a different sort of game and your main character has a different sort of bullet, then you would open up that. So all that's in there at the moment is this little impulse thing. Yeah. So I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. I might come back to it depending on what it is. It's very possible. Alright, so very first thing, we are in the event graph. We're going to go over to the viewport. Real quick, I'm going to go over how to get to the projectile class. So we're in here and we go to first person AI BT, first person BP, there we go. Double click on blueprints and then go to projectile blueprints. Alright, so now we're in here. Now we go to viewport, and at this point, sorry about that, at this point we're going to go over in this area. It has a little ball, it has all that. We're going to go over to components, and it's fairly simple. What we're going to do, we're just going to do collision sphere. Okay, so collision sphere collision. We're going to add that. We're going to call it hit underscore volume. Alright, now we don't want it too big because we don't want it to hit anything that it's not supposed to. So under sphere radius, I'm just going to make that maybe 20. Let's see what 20 looks like. That's way too small. We're going to, I think so, at least. We're going to make it 30. Okay, so also, if you click on here, you can right click and just drag until it's about right. I want it about there, because this red line in here is the actual collision. That's where it's going to hit, and this we want a little bit of overlap. So that looks about right to me. Now I'm going to right click, no, my bad. Yeah, I'm going to right click on the hit volume. I'm going to go add event. Add a component begin overlap. That's what I want. Add on component begin overlap. So we have this. Now that we have that, we're going to actually just minimize this for a sec, and we're going to go make what's called a blueprint interface. So I'm just going to go over my AI. Actually, in the root of the AI, yeah, that's where I want to put it, because it's going to control a lot of the AI. I'm just going to right click in the root of the AI, and go to blueprints, blueprint interface. That's the one. It's very important. So I'm going to call this AI interface. Yep, that looks about right to me. Alright, now double click the interface. Now what this is allows you to send functions from one blueprint and have them be called in another. That's all it is. That's the core of what it is. It can do a lot more, but that's what we're going to do at the moment. Alright, so the function will be called hit underscore AI. And that's what we'll call it. Hit underscore AI. Now with this function, we're going to want to send along all the necessary information with that event. So now, when we want to send stuff to our AI blueprints, we're going to want to send the damage that we're going to do to there, because we're going to set the damage inside of the AI blueprints. So very first thing, not the very first thing, but after we create hit AI, while hit AI is selected, under inputs, we're going to do new. Now it allows us to send over different variables. I'm going to call this damage, and I'm going to make it from a boolean to a float. Yeah, let's do a float. Floats are easy. Then we're going to compile it. It's very important to compile it because it's just important to compile it for the next part. Alright, so now I'm going to close all that. I'm going to go back to my bullet, and we're going to right click. Oh, we're going to compile, right click, and we're going to call it AI underscore hit. Nope. Let's just try hit. Yep. Hit AI. That's the one I just made a second ago. So with this, it needs a couple things. It needs to know where to send it to, and this is the variable I made, so it needs to know how much damage. So first thing I'm going to do for funsies, pull this out. First I'm going to make a variable. Let's call this damage. Click on it, make it a float, make it editable. Editable so I can just, don't even go to the blueprint, do a get, plug that straight into there. Get damage. So now, just in future reference, I can go to damage details. You can compile it, my bad. Compile, close, close. Don't know why it's not showing up. Okay. Well, usually you'll have a list of editable variables here. So let's say his damage, his health is out of 100. His damage, let's say we're just going to do 20 for now. That's all we need. Doesn't need to be that big of a deal. Alright. Next thing we're going to do. The hit actor we're going to cast to character. Now, I know our character blueprint for our AI is not named character. What a cast to character does is it's a generic cast that'll cast to the character blueprint of whatever you're sending to. I know it's kind of complicated, but it's just a generic cast, basically. So we're just going to, and we're going to convert it to pure cast because I like those a little bit better. It's easier to work with. And I'm just going to plug that straight into target and have that go to that. And now we got to set up the location and where it goes to. We compile it, close it out. It's really bugging me why that's not doing it. Here, let me just try something. Windows, details 1, details 2. Oh well. It's bugging me. Anyways, we're going to go over to our character blueprint. AI character BP. That sounds like where we want to go. Now, AI BP. This is the one we want. Not the guard controller, but we want the AI blueprint. The one that pretty much has nothing in it. It's got stuff in the viewport, but nothing in here. So, very first thing to do, right off the bat, we're going to do a class settings. And we're going to go down to here. And we're going to, under class settings, it's going to immediately bring up this place where it says interfaces. Now we just made an interface. We're going to want to add our interface to this one. So AI interface. One thing of note that's kind of important is you don't need interfaces from where you send it from. I mean, you don't need to set the interface where you send it from, but you do need to set the interface where you receive it, if that makes sense. So I'm receiving it in my character blueprint, but I'm sending it from the projectile. I don't need to set it in the projectile, but I do need to set it in the character blueprint. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call the event for it. So I'm going to right click in my world, and I'm going to have event hit. That's not right. AI. Right. Next thing I do, compile, because it needs to realize that the anim interface is part of us. Event hit AI. So this is calling from our AI interface. So just for testing purposes, because I'm trying to teach you guys how to even test your world, let's just connect this all and make sure it works. So I'm just going to drag this off and go to a print string. Print string. I like to use print strings for tests because I don't need to look into my worlds and make sure it's all working. And I'm going to connect the damage to a string to make sure that's working too. I'm going to compile it. Then I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to play and possess. Alright. So now I shoot, and as you can see, I do 20 damage in the top left of this. Yeah, top left of the screen. So shoot, shoot, shoot. Alright. So that's working out perfectly. Next thing that we're going to want to do. In our AIBP, we're going to want to delete this because we now know it's working. We don't need any of that. But we do need to add a new variable. We're going to call this variable health. And we're going to make it a float. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get health. And I'm also going to get a set health. Now I'm also going to make health editable. I like to make it editable so I know, so I don't need to go into the world. I'm going to make this 100. He's just going to have 100 health, and that's going to be it. Now the damage is done. We're going to do a little math here. We're going to drag this off and do a minus. Float minus minus. Float minus minus. Yeah. So now, basically, unless you want a negative number, you're going to want the larger number to be on top. So usually our health will be more than our damage. So we're going to drag that off here, have that go to minus, have health go to there. And we're going to drag this off to set the new health as whatever health minus damage is. And we're actually going to go and test that again. So we're going to go health. Print string, my bad. Print string. And we're going to drag this little thing off into the string so I can see how much health I get subtracted per hit. Play, possess, and I'm here. Shoot, shoot, 80, 60, 40, 20, 0. So that's working well. That's how it's doing how we want. Alright, so we're going to highlight that and delete it. Alright, cool. Cool, cool. Next thing we do is we want an actual tactile feel when he gets hit. So here are some animations that I pulled off the generic model for in Unreal just for this guy. I'm going to use some hit reactions. So in my animations tab, I have my animations, my idle, walk, and run. And I'm going to add two more. I'm actually at all three at the moment. I'm going to add a death and 2 hit reactions. So we're going to bring that in. And just wait for the square and drop. Alright. So under skeleton, we're going to pick our skeleton, the one we've done so much with. Export time is fine. I'm going to import all. And we wait for that to import, and we are all good. Alright, cool. Let's just take a look at them to make sure it is what we want. A little that's right. He okay, as you can see, the rig isn't quite right because I think I pulled it from a different um, version of Unreal. So the arms are a bit off. But that's fine. I'm going to actually go over how to retarget this so it looks all good in a future video. Just look for that in like 2 or 3 videos where I'm going to retarget that and fix up his arms so he doesn't look like he's got sockets out if you have your arms. But hopefully your animations are made for your specific game, so you won't need to do it. So, very first thing, we're going to close that out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add what's called an anim montage. Now, in order for something to be called within a blueprint, it needs to be in something that's called an anim montage. So, if you look at it, it's right here. So we're going to just add a montage, click our skeleton, and we're going to call this hit react. So we're going to open that. Now it's going to have just our generic character in a T-pose. Now I like to do this first just because I hate having it. Oh, I can't do that first. Okay. So under hit react 1, I'm going to drag that off and just place it in the world. And he is somewhere. One sec. Let's try to find him. There he is. Little bugger. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, just pause it. I don't like it playing. I'm going to new montage section. I'm going to call this react. Yep. So I'm going to add a new montage section, call it react. Just because I don't like this default. I'm going to delete this default, and now the start of this section will be called react. That's not too important at the moment, but we do need to set it. I will get into the reason why we have all these different names in the future. But all you need to know right now is just name it react, and default group is fine. Yeah, default group. Let's just do slots. Slots are something that is going to change the actual animation blueprint. So we're going to add a new slot. We're going to name the slot react. React. Okay, react. So slot react. That looks good. Save. And we're going to close that down. So he's got that little and that's what we want. Alright. Now we just have one for a moment. We might add more if I feel like there's time. How much time have we got? Okay. So now we're going to go back to the AI character blueprint. I'm going to open that back up. Now, as you can remember, last thing we did just a couple minutes ago was have it decrease the health per hit of the attack. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to right click or even drag off and type in something called play montage, or just let's just type in montage. Maybe I'm spelling it right. Wrong. Play anim montage. There we go. Okay. Now there should, at the moment, for me, there's only one. Oh, there's two, but only one real anim montage that works for this one. So I'm going to do a hit montage. Now the target is self because I'm trying to get that character blueprint to play it. Now remember when we named the section, we're just going to name it the same thing. So it's capital R-E-A-C-T. Now let's test that out. Now it didn't work. Does anyone know why it didn't work? No, because this is not an interactive process. But I'll tell you why. It's because we didn't set up the slots. So if we go back to our AnimBP, we're now going to go to AnimBP. Now that was just a demonstration of how to play test, basically. So I will open up my AnimBP. Now I did a little bit of work inside the event graph, and we're going to go back to the anim graph, which I'm just going to go to the very root. This is the root of the anim graph, and you can always click on anim graph at the top to get back to the root. Now, from here, let's just, I won't even bother that. From here, this little person I'm going to drag off, and I'm going to do slot. Slot, default slot. Yes. Plug that in. Plug that in. Compile. Alright, so now once I've compiled it and plugged it in, I'm going to need to go over to slot name and go down here. And now here, see this group I made? I'm going to need to make that there. So that's good. So now everything should work. By the way, every time you add a new montage, you don't need to make a new group, but you should group your things with that and add a new slot thing in this area. Like graphs for a character at the end will have like 20 slots. I've seen it before. It's amazing. Alright, so now I'm going to, you know what, I'm just tired of doing that. Selected viewport, that's fine. Alright. Resume. Okay, so let's check that. It's not working. Now we shall test it in here. Let's go back here. Save. Hi everybody, sorry about that. I just needed to see what was running on. I didn't want you guys to wait around. Alright, so turns out I actually forgot to assign the slot name inside this. So what we're going to do is in our AI box, our AI folder, we're going to go to character BP. Nope, my bad. We're going to go to animations. Go to our hit react, the one we just made a little bit ago. And it turns out that in mine, I didn't have it go to react. I had it on default. So now I'm going to have it go to react, the one I just made a slot for inside my anim blueprint. I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to play it. Now you can see that he does move around. And it is working, but it's not exactly what we want. In fact, his arms are off. Alright, whatever. So, I'm going to show you how to fix that. One thing, I'm going to show you why he just jumps up and down. Now, the reason why... Here, I'll show you in a sec. The reason why... Play. Our character is jumping up and down, like that, is actually a mixing of two different type of skeletons per se, so you shouldn't have that problem. If you do, I would suggest going forward to our a retargeting video, and then you can take a look at that, and that should fix your problem. But we're just going to work around it for now. Okay, so now we're going to continue on our AIBP map. Okay, so our next problem is that he continues to move while he's getting hit. People don't usually continue to move and slide around their feet when they're hit. They tend to stop. So we're going to get inside our character BP. We're going to drag off character movement, get this thing, and do set max walk speed. We're actually going to, first thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight that, copy it, and paste it right next to it. So we're going to want to set it 0, so he is stopped, and then we're going to want to set it, here, well, let's do it this way. Get literal, get max walk speed. So we're going to get max walk speed. We're going to make a literal float. and then we're just going to plug that in. What a literal float is, that's not going to work. My bad. We're just going to go around the hard way. Well, not the hard way, just adds more variables, and variables take up memory, so we're going to go around this way. So I'm going to go around this way, and we're going to call it default speed. Default speed. I may have misspelled that and put capitals in wrong places. I do that a lot. Oh well. We'll just work with it. We're okay. We're not picky. Set. And we're going to plug that straight into there. So we're going to do that. We're going to set default speed. And then we're going to redo that. Now what this does is it allows us to be kind of more general type of blueprint. In this one, I think the character max walk speed is 600. Let me check. Max. No, wait, we set it. We set it at. We set it at different speeds for the walking and running. So what this is going to do is it's going to set the max walk speed based on how it sees you and things. I could just unplug that and put 600 to make it easy, but I like to be tough on myself. So I'm going to put a delay inside here. And that delay, I'm just going to have it go to complete. And this return value will tell you how long it's going to play the animation. So how it goes is this isn't actually going to play the animation and then continue. It's just going to say, oh, you want to play the animation? Send the play animation notification and then just continue. There's no delay in this play montage. But I'm going to put the delay over here. So I'm just going to plug return value, which is the time of the animation, into delay. So we're going to compile that. And that should be fine. Alright. So let's test it out now. We're going to play it. Go around here. Yeah, if I can hit him. He stops. Mostly. And then he does stop. And he does go. You can play around with this number a little bit, this duration number, if you want to make it a little longer. I'm okay with it, but you can add like 1 second to it if you want. It's not going to hurt anything. So we have that hit, and that's good. That's a-okay in my book. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up death. So this is actually hit, and we're going to comment that out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of this and press C. And it's going to do a comment. I'm going to do hit react. Now I'm going to drag this off, and I'm going to do what's called a branch. Branch is just a true or false value based on whether the boolean you're going to plug into here is true or false. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this off, and I'm going to do is health equal to or greater than, yes, is health equal to or greater than 0. Actually, I'm going to put a not just because I don't like to cross node lines. Not boolean. What a not boolean does is just inverts it. If it's a yes, it's a no. If it's a yes, it makes it a no. If it's a no, it makes it a yes. That's all it does. So if health is great, oh wait, no, do I need the not? Health greater than 0, true. Yeah, I do need the not. Alright. Think about it. Just put it in a sentence. If health is not greater than or equal to 0, it's gonna go true. Yeah. If it's not, it says health is not equal to or greater than 0. If that statement is true, it goes up here. If that statement is false, it goes down here. So let's say my health is 50. 50, 50 is not greater than or equal to 0. And that statement is false, so it's going to go down here. So I'm going to plug down false into here. So that's where that's going to do. And I'm going to do actually another play anim notify, play anim montage, and plug that in true. And this will start our death sequence. So I'm going to close this out for now. I'm going to go back to my animations thing, and I'm imported a couple more animations. Here I'm going to make a new anim montage called with skeleton. I'm going to call it death. And that's fine. Just dying people. So in the death montage, I'm going to click on my death iron sights, which is just a random one I pulled off. Make a new animation montage. I'm going to call it death. Actually, I'm going to call it dead just for less letters. Delete my old one. And I'm going to make a new group because I want to teach you guys how to make a new group in repetitions, how you learn. So we're going to call this death. Now this time I'm going to remember to change the default class to death. Alright, so now this didn't pull from the same skeleton, so it's going to be a little different. It's got its arm still, but it's still working, so it should be fine. It's not that different of a skeleton, so you don't need to worry about it. I'm going to go back to my animation blueprint. And I'm going to go down to hit react, and now I'm going to click on death. And instead of start location, I'm going to put dead for my dead. Did I actually make it? One sec. I'm going to just check to make sure I made my dead. Okay, so I made it a capital. I made my montage section a capital. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to make this dead. Does it not accept capitals? Dead. Alright, whatever, it doesn't accept capitals. Moving on. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our anim BP. Gonna go here. I'm going to take this, move it up, Control C, Control C, Control V. Instead of a react group, I'm going to make it a death group. Gonna plug that into there and plug that into there. And so now I compile it and I got some more functions. Let's test it out. Alright, so he's dead. Only problem is he still runs around and then gets back up after his animation's done. So there's a couple things we need to do. First thing we need to do, go back into our animation montage, click on this. Now, next thing we're going to want to do, let me think. Recycle the last little bit. Yeah, okay. We're going to make a new montage section. And we're going to call it, let's just call it Stay Dead, because, you know, whatever. So what this is going to do is going to repeat the last frame or so. And we're going to scroll down, Stay Dead. Okay, now I'm going to show you, go away. Okay. So what this is doing is allows you to rearrange it and play it in different orders. So I'm going to start off with, go away. I'm going to start off with dead, then I'm going to move to Stay Dead. Click. One second. Let me repeat loop. Okay. Okay, got it. Remembered it. Sorry about that. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we have our two sections that are here, and that's represented right here. And if I scroll back far enough, the last little frame is the death. So if I want, I can have it starts off with dead, and then it moves into nothing. So I'm gonna start off with dead, and then I'm gonna go to stay dead. So now it goes from dead to stay dead, which is what we want. We want to play from dead to stay dead. But what we also want is it to repeat stay dead over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So we're gonna click on stay dead, and then click on stay dead again. So when it turns blue like that, you know it's it repeats it. So as you can see now, it repeats that last frame and it just stays still, which is pretty much what we want for this. We just want them to stay stationary because dead people don't usually move, and this is not a zombie AI. Well, I guess it could be, but sometimes there's dead zombies. So we're going to close that out. Now let's see what happens when we play it. Fire, 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 fire. So now he's dead, and he's full on dead, and he's not getting back up, but he's also not stopping moving. And we knew that would happen. We knew that would happen. So what we gotta do is we gotta change his behavior tree. So we go over back to our character blueprint. Now, yeah, okay, let's go that way. After here, we're gonna do. Actually, let's just do cast to controller. Yep. Get controller. Compile. Warning. Okay. I guess that might work. Self? Let's just try plugging self. Sometimes I just don't like. Whatever. Ugh. Okay. 1 sec. Okay. Get controlled pawn. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video and come back in one. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to figure out how to do something because it was not working. But I figured it all out. All good now. Drag this off. AI controller. Context sensitive. Get AI controller. So we're going to want to get AI controller is the one we want. From here, we're going to just want to get a reference to self. That's fine. Compile it, make sure it's all good. Get that green check mark that's just a relief node. From return value, we're going to drag off and get blackboard. Make sure to do the function and not the AI one down there. Get that, return value blackboard. Now we're going to do something we did in a different blueprint in here. I'm going to drag this off and do set literal. Nope. That's not all what I want. Set value. I hate spelling. Value as bool. Unclick context sensitive. Set value as bool. This is what we're going to want. Now the target is going to be this blackboard. What we're doing is from the self, we're getting our AI controller, and from there we're going to get the blackboard that's connected with that AI controller. And then we're going to plug that into target. Now we're not going to make anything for the bool value because we're just going to set it to true. Because our little name, we're going to make a key name, make My computer's slow. Make literal. I misspelled. God damn it. Content sensitive. Make literal name. There we go. Make literal name. And value in literal name is dead. We're going to make the literal name dead. And we're just going to set it to true. Alright. Now we're going to close this out. Go over to our AI folder again. Go to our AI brain. Open our behavior tree. And then go to our blackboard. Now we're going to actually make the key that we are setting to be dead. We're going to make a bool and we're going to call it DEAD. Dead. Make it false. And there. Now in our behavior tree. Sorry, that was fast. I'm going to go over that again. Dead. So I'm going to make a key called dead and just place it in there. Not going to make any changes to it. Not going to set it to true. Not going to do anything. Just going to make a key called dead so we have something to set. Now in our behavior tree, we're going to make another sequence. So we're going to type in sequence over here and we're going to rename it dead. And we're going to drag that over there, right click it, add decorator, blackboard decorator. Now under the blackboard base condition, we're going to change is target to set? No, I don't want that. We want dead to be set. Now in this case, is set just means is true. That's all that means in this instance. And we're just from that, all we want our AI to do is to wait. Now it's not really going to be dead in terms of the AI's brain, but it's going to be dead for all real means. Now under wait time, we're just going to hit, let's just say 60 seconds. Whatever, we're just going to make it there. Now an important thing that I didn't go over in the last video that I'm going to go over right now, and we're also going to fix a couple other things that is not doing that. This notify observer and observer aborts allows you to, in the middle of something else, abort any of the lower priority or anything you set. So I just did that. So I'm just going to change observer aborts. I'm going to have it be able to abort anything of lower priority. So even if it's halfway through something else, it's going to abort it halfway. So if it's halfway between moving between this and another target, it's going to abort everything of lower priority. I'm going to do the same thing to is target set. I'm going to go over here and abort lower priority. And I'm just going to do that over that. Okay, so what happened before is if it sees the player mid-wander, it'll finish it. In the past, it would have finished its wander and then moved to the player. Now, it won't finish its wander. So that's basically what we want. And we're just going to right-click and auto-range. Now, in all honesty, let's just delete this. I never like this guard point stuff. So I'm just going to leave the guard point stuff. You don't have to. Anyways, rearrange it again. Make sure everything's good. Yep. Alright, so now we're going to iconify that, or minimize that, sorry, old school. And we're going to play test it. I'm going to go over. And he's dead. He doesn't even move towards me or anything. Let's try that again because I got him a bit of a delay here. So 1, he should take 5 hits by the way. 2, 3, 4. Now let's get really far away and then have him die. Oh, one more? Yep, there we go. So now he's dead. It's just on the floor. Now yep, that's exactly what we want. So I'm gonna exit out of that. Let's just go over to our character BP for a quick second. Open that back up. Alright, so now we're just going to comment all this out as dead. Alright, so that's the basics of a health system. Now this has been a very long video, like an extremely long video. So it's a lot to cover, and I've gone over everything I wanted to for this video. In the next video we're going to go over how to get the AI to actually attack. So that's going to be fun. Now let's go over what we did this video for all the people that want to skip ahead to the end or just want to revamp. Alright, so we made an anim interface in order to call on all our different functions inside our character blueprint. Inside of our character blueprint, we did a lot of programming. We did all this. And we made this thing that's called from the anim Blurify, and we did all these anim montages. Now, in addition to that, we imported three animations and made two different anim montages, and we made our little dead guy somewhere. I think he's stuck halfway on the floor. Inside our animation blueprint, we didn't change anything in the graph, I don't think, but we changed anything in the event graph. But we did change the event graph. We made these slots. So I'm going to quickly go over the actual play, how it looks different. We actually also got our bullet to do damage and things. So also, if you can see, once he's in mid-wander, he aborts his wander and moves straight towards me. Now, I know his hit reaction is not perfect, and I'm going to work on getting that to be a little better. But I'll show you the damage and death. The death works out really well, and I like how that worked out. He's just dead. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you would like any specific video tutorials on Unreal, please comment or message me. I am more than happy to go over any specifics that you would like. And thank you. Goodbye.